La Liga Showtimes have released, so let's take a look at them. So we finally have a card of the star boy Yamal. He looks pretty good. His skills actually look quite usable, and then if you look at his stats, he starts off with a decent level, and then of course, yeah, he does have the momentum dribbling. So if we take a look at this guy leveled up, this is the first build I'd recommend. Now you can see we got the passing to 85 for the +3 boost. Same with the speed and the balance, and obviously there's a little extra point in there. And then when you add the +3 boost, this is what it looked like, and then the boost on the card, which is dribbling, type, possession, speed, and balance. That's his final stats. Now the finishing and curl are quite a bit lower than I would have anticipated. It's because you can get the passing stats to 85 and they're so close to each other, I kind of felt tempted to put them there. So while this build isn't bad, you can do a different build with more finishing, which would be more kind of usable, I would say, or meta in a sense. Not that the build with the more passing would be terrible or anything, but I think while the other one is higher rated and kind of, I'd say, would be more well-rounded, this one is probably what you would want to use in game, although you do get less stats at 85. As I said, this guy's skills start off quite well, although he will need a few to be more effective. I go for acrobatic finishing, scissors feint, first time shot, long range shooting. Then you could go for like a cut behind and turn or a heel trick, or, and the skill I would probably go for the fifth one, gamesmanship. Now momentum dribbling is quite a good skill. I have it myself with this Showtime Maradona. His dribbling stats aren't the like extremely highest like a Neymar or Messi, but he does perform quite similar because of the boost. And Yamal with the build I'm recommending for the build you're going to be using, because you can get his points much higher. He's going to be the same, so don't worry about Yamal not having like 95 on the dribbling stats. If you want to know if any of the other skills are worth it, I have a hour-long discussion with Gianni ranking all the Showtime players with the skills, and we kind of rank the skills and let you know which ones are worth spinning for in our opinion, so check that out. Link will be in the description. Next player is Jude Bellingham. There was a player that came out recently in the England pack and I think is amazing. So the question is, should you get the England pack one or the new Showtime one? So we'll have a look at the Showtime's build right now and decide. So this is the first build I've had a look at, and if we level them up, this is what he'll look like. You can see before we put the boost on what we're doing with the stats. Dribbling's obviously just a high level, low pass to 85, and then speed and compare will get to 85 when you put 8 lower body strength in, and then we have the balance at 86 just because we want the acceleration to get to 80, so with the 70 it'll get there. So yeah, he looks quite good. Now he actually does have a booster on acceleration though, so you can do something else with the card. And his finishing is 93, so I think the finishing is either too high or just too low to go to another tier. So what you can do to rectify that is you can take off a bit of the acceleration and finishing and put the points into defending, make them a little bit more well-rounded. This guy will still be fine attacking. If we had a look at the other Bellingham I have, the England pack one, this is what his finishing is, and his is only 85, or sorry, rather 88 with 85 kick and power. And yeah, no, his goals to game ratio isn't like the most amazing for me, but I do think he's one of the best players in the game. He's often keeping Ruud Gullit out of my team, so this Bellingham's insane. And the new one does look a little bit better, and then he does have the increased defensive stats. Alternatively, if you want to get him to 95 finishing, you are gonna also have to take some point off dribbling and put it in like that, but that's actually not a big issue, because if you take the point off dribbling, you can see that his dribbling is still at 85, so you're getting the +3. So I think the reason on between these two builds is I either think if you have 90 finishing, you stay there, or you don't increase the finishing until you get 95. It's just kind of experience from playing the game. And I would only recommend this build specifically if you're going to use them as an SS or a centre forward. I think if you're going to use them AMF, CMF, and LMF, whatever, use the previous builds. That looks like so. You can also, by the way, just take off a dribbling, put it into aerial, and you'll get the 80 physical. I don't think that's majorly needed. You can also just put some points into defending. The reason I didn't is just because you won't be able to get it to 85. And I do think this guy is best as a AMF or a SS, so I wouldn't be too concerned about the defending. Although getting the defending high is good. He'll win the ball high up the pitch for you pretty often. So yeah, this guy's really good. I did do a tier list of every player in the national team pack, so Messi, Griezmann, Bellingham, etc, etc, and I had Bellingham in S tier alongside Griezmann and the new big time Messi, and those are the only 3 players in S tier. So this guy is amazing. I love Bellingham. The new one, is he worth an upgrade though? If we look at his stats here, I would say no, it's not worth the money. It is a noticeable upgrade for sure. +3 on speed and kicking power, and quite a large jump on defending, but I just don't think it's worth your money. Now if you wanted Yamal, the next player Valverde, who has Fortress, we'll get to in a sec. Yeah, it's not like a terrible idea, but I just think, especially because Gareth Southgate in that pack will give you the manager with quick counter and long ball counter. I don't think, if you want Bellingham, I think you should just be going for the England pack, not for this version. Now the skills are actually a little bit different on this Bellingham compared to my England pack one, and the biggest reason why I like the Bellingham is because he has the level 3 double touch, which allows you to do the kind of Franquinho touch is what maybe I'm calling it, or the double touch shot. I have a video on that. But this one won't be able to do it as consistently as my England pack one. And at the moment, looking at the skills, like before we put skills on it, even though this Bellingham does have true passing, I think the England pack one is better just because of that level 3 double touch ability. So the first skill I'd want to put on this guy is flip flap 100%. Then you should go for acrobatic finishing. Then definitely go for track back. It'll make him a beast and a lot more involved defensively, whether you don't put too much points into his defending or you do. It'll just make him more involved. And then for the skills after that, I feel like you're just at a point where you're just kind of getting luxury skills or kind of benefits. I don't know how to say it, but like skills that aren't going to move the needle on him and just going to be a little bit of an extra benefit. So you could go scissors feint because he's tall. Tall players, I feel like scissors feint is often very good on them. You could go cut behind and turn. I don't think it's a major need. He does have it on the England pack one though. So if you want to kind of recreate that England pack that I love so much, might be a shout. Long range curler wouldn't be too bad, but he just doesn't have the curl very high, although kicking power is more important. Then although counter to that, I think knock-on finesses aren't as strong recently as they have been before. You could go for a heel trick, not a bad idea, especially if you're going to play him SS as I do on the England pack version. And then gamesmanship would be good in them, just you won't win many penalties, the refs don't give the penalties. And then you could also get aerial superiority on him because he's kind of tall. That would be more if you're playing him SS, not AMF, because we know how OP the little lofted passes up to the forwards are in this game. So yeah, and overall, a good card. I just think you need to get a flip flap on him and then it'll unlock him, because that double touch shot or slash pass is really effective. So, and one thing why Bellingham is really good at it is, if we look at my pack Bellingham and the new one is similar on the builds I'm given, the ball control is not too high. It's good enough that it's a good stat for him, but it's actually at the level where you can hit the ball controlled shot or pass pretty consistently, because ball control determines how quickly you do a skill move. So there's still a little bit of time that it's quick enough to kind of get you in a good position, but also not too quick that you can't react quick enough and release the shot or pass. So this is why Bellingham's my favorite for that type of skill move. Okay, the last player is Valverde, and I'm not gonna lie, I've used a couple versions of this guy and he's not a player I like in this game. And I feel like I say this pretty often. I like him in real life, but not in the game, and I feel like I'm saying that about a lot of players recently, like Kroos, definitely for sure. I remember anyway. I do like Valverde in real life, but he's just, in the game, I just don't get on with him very well, and I don't really understand why, because his stats look like I should like him. I like a fast centre mid. I don't know if it's his dribbling, but even his dribbling stats aren't low enough that I wouldn't be interested in maybe just player ID. But a lot of people love this guy in game. Like, I always hear people talk about him. So this is the build. This is the main build I'd go for. I wouldn't really go for anything else. His interceptions are going to be crazy just because he has the speed and acceleration. If you did want to do anything else, you would have to get rid of one stat. That's actually quite important with 85, because his ball control is already there. All his defensive stats are there. Speed is, well, it's not 85. It's 87, although he does have the booster. So there is something we can cook up. I'll show you in a second. Now, if you take off the 2 speed, like so, you'll get 5 points. Kicking power isn't going to be as high anymore, but it's still at a very high level. With the extra points, what should you do? I mean, like, I wouldn't recommend having changed that, but you could get, like, maybe an extra point into passing, just to get to the 80 low pass, and then maybe the rest into, so you can't even go into defending, you're not going to have the points. Well, let's take most of the points off passing, leave 1, and put the rest in, and then you'll get the all 90 on defensive stats, which I don't think is necessary. But if you're viewing this guy as purely a defensive minded centre mid, yeah, it's not a bad idea. I do think the first build is the best overall, because Fortress is going to give him that boost anyway. We talk about Fortress in that Showtime skill video if you want kind of further thoughts on the skill. But yeah, he should be a decent player. He's looks very similar to my Mateus, who I think is like one of the best players in the game. He's like Kante ×2 based in the game, and he's actually got better dribbling stats than new Valverde. I just have a feeling Valverde won't dribble as well, just from using his other cards. I don't know how to explain it really. I guess it's the balance actually. Yeah, no, that'll be it. The balance is quite a big difference. And that's probably why I don't like him. I probably have noticed the low balance. So I don't think he'll be the greatest dribbler, this Valverde. But in terms of what his job is to kind of run around and intercept, he'd be good. He would fit into this formation very well to cover a lot of space. But yeah, I can definitely see him being a good player. Now, if we look at the skills, he does have most of the... He has the important ones. He has one touch pass, true pass, track back, interception, and fighting spirit. They're the most important for this type of guy. And then Fortress is obviously improving the defensive abilities after the second half mark, as long as the team has a goal advantage. So I'm thinking, because this guy already has most of the important skills, I don't think super sub would be a bad idea on him, because if you can get that goal lead, let's say you're playing someone more attacking in centre mid, like actually even this Bellingham, you play a Bellingham in centre mid, a whole player, which is actually quite effective. Get the goal, and then once you're winning, bring on Valverde, maybe for someone else other than Bellingham, because he's quite good, but you know what I mean? Bring on the Bellingham, or sorry, the Valverde with the Fortress and Super Sub combo boost. Yeah, it'll be a pretty good idea in my head. So yeah, I'd consider Super Sub. Now, because he has a lot of the good skills, there's a few different ways you can go with this. You can also try get a level 3 double touch with him. So it'd be double touch, flip flap, and soul control. Not a bad idea. Now, you'll only have one skill after that, so it is a kind of big investment, but I can see it being good because he's also another player that's decently tall, and then that double touch is kind of better with tall players, I find. So you could do that, or alternatively, if you are looking at him as a purely defensive player, you could start putting like acrobatic clearance on him, blocker, maybe even aerial superiority. Not 100% sure on that. I don't think the jumping will be good enough. But yeah, because he's so defensively inclined, I do think he could do with a blocker. So acrobatic clearance, blocker, slide tackle. The thing about slide tackle is only put it on if you're going to put blocker on too, because you get the animations. There's additional blocking animations. And then if you are going for the level 3 double touch, if you had to pick between any of those defensive skills, you'd go for blocker. And then if you're going for the level 3 double touch, but you're not going to go for super sub, you just go acrobatic clearance after that. I don't think you need slide tackle after blocker. I think acrobatic clearance first will be more important. But yeah, definitely a very good player. Similar to my Mateus, just without the balance, but he does have the Fortress. So, you know, if it was my team, maybe it'd be a situation of starting Mateus and then bringing on Valverde when we're trying to hold on to the lead.